We are happy to be back with Ben Affleck and Charlie Hunnam, two stars of the new Netflix movie Triple Frontier. Okay, they play former U.S. Special Forces operatives who embark on a risky personal mission to steal money from a notorious drug lord. Take a look.
From the first pop, you'd have 40 minutes to get in, get the job done, and get out before the family comes home from church. That's a hard out. You need to breach the fence, sweep the premises, find and subdue the guards, scrub the hard drives in the security room, get rid of Larea, find the money, pack the money into 1,800-pound bags, and then hoof it half a mile to the nearest vehicle. Still got your aviation guy down here?
I don't know, but I'll give him a call.
Oh, yeah. Big Dog is back.
Big Dog's back. Ben and Charlie, good morning, you two.
Good morning.
I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to root for you in this movie. I don't know whether to root against you in this movie.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about it. You guys were former Special Forces. You end up not having enough dough to even get your kids through college, and now you're like, we want ours.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting story because the rooting interests are sort of complicated, and maybe they change as it goes along. Naturally, you start with these guys who, that was a big part of what was appealing to me about the story, like the special operatives, how much of the fighting they do for this country, how much of the burden they bear, how difficult and stressful that must be. Then you've done that for 20 years. You come out and you're in the civilian world, and you've got these incredible skills, but they're not really applicable, to any, like marketing or real estate or something. And so these guys get, they then get tempted by this job where they have the potential to make a lot of money, and they feel that they're doing something good going into it. And
to make a character sing, it can't just be reading the words off a script. There has to be something special in there that you actually connect to. So was there something that lives inside you, Ben, that this character helped sort of bring out?
For me, it was like finding something to connect to really had to do with the guys who trained us, finding the realism behind it, like wanting to make it feel as though you were really seeing genuine special operators working and get an entree into that world. And Charlie and I and the rest of the guys did, a bunch of work training with them, and we tried our best.
Charlie, have you ever worked with Ben before? Was this a first-timer?
No, this is the first time.
Yeah.
I said,
many.
Many. I'm a big fan of Ben as an actor, but also as a director. So I've been angling for a job.
I'm angling for a job from you. So we've been auditioning for each other.
Right.
Did it take a little time to look at him and say, okay, it's Ben Affleck, but now I've just got to look at him as a guy who I'm acting with in this show? How long did it take to get past that part?
No time at all.
No time at all. Media, the way we started this, as Ben just mentioned, was 4 days on a firing range doing live fire with these 3 SEAL team operatives and a Delta Force operative. So, that was a really wonderful way to get to know each other and get to trust each other. I was frankly quite surprised that we did all of those situational awareness things with live fire, because that was rather ambitious for an Englishman who'd never shot a gun before. For them to trust me.
Giving any actors real guns, it was very brave of the. And if we needed more evidence that our special operators were very brave, that was it.
Ben, I got to say, I'm looking at you when I walked in and saw you. I said, this guy's looking so good.
Oh,
you look like things are going right in your life.
Things are great, yeah.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about, is there something special in this moment that you feel like, I feel like things are going right for me?
You know what? I mean, I hate to be shallow about it, but I just did the A-Rod 10-day challenge.
You did it?
I did, yeah, which I saw on this show.
Yeah.
I got inspired by,
And?
I saw Carson Daly bombed out after a day and a half.
He totally did.
1 hour.
He didn't even make it an hour.
Like, I know I can get past the donut tray for longer in a day.
Yeah.
Not me.
It was
Good for you, Ben.
It's not easy. I will admit, Carson, that it was a little bit tough, but I did it. I feel better. It gives you a little. It's awful for the first couple of days because I'm definitely somebody who likes bread.
Yeah.
Sugar. But
So
then
just no carbs, no sugar?
No bread, no sugar, no dairy. It's supposed to be no caffeine. I cheated on the caffeine a little bit, I have to say. I can't. But, then you're like, it's one of those things where it's terrible.
Well,
you get through it and you're like, oh, I feel pretty good. Of course, by the end of the 10 days, I was like, I had 3 bagels.
There are a lot of awesome things about you, Ben. And one of the things I think that you did back
I love when you start a question like that. There's so many amazing.
There are amazing things
Let me
about
just
you.
try.
But here's one. You're very honest about some things that you've been battling. And I remember reading your post in October, and it really touched me. And you said this: battling addiction is a lifelong and difficult struggle. Because of that, one is never really in or out of treatment. It's a full-time commitment. I'm fighting for myself and my family. That was such a strong statement. I think a lot of people look at addiction and say, oh, it's over. He did it. It's like cancer. It's cured. He's done. But it is is a lifelong battle for you.
Yeah, I mean, some people are sort of uncomfortable. Doesn't really bother me to talk about alcoholism and being an alcoholic. It's part of my life. It's something that I deal with. It doesn't have to sort of subsume my whole identity and be everything, but it is something that, you have to work at. And, I feel like I had a problem and I really want to address it. And I take some pride in that. And I hope that, and it's about yourself, your life, your family. And, people, we encounter these kinds of hurdles and we have to deal with them.
Well, like you said, fighting for your family is important. How do you think you are as a dad? What kind of a dad are you?
I hope I'm a pretty good dad. I certainly try very hard. I'm lucky they got a great mom, and she helps out a great deal with, making sure that we co-parent in as good a way as possible. But, I think, dads are so important to kids, and it's our responsibility to be there for them and to be present, to be mindful, to be attentive, to be part of their lives, to be as in it as moms. And that's really, the central preoccupation of my life. The focus of my life is what I love doing. It's what makes me happy. And the rest of the stuff, kind of follows.
So how are you feeling about everything right now? Do you feel like you're on a good road?
I'm ready to do another A-Rod challenge right now.
You
ready
are?
To go. Back on the horse.
Jennifer, your ex-wife posted a funny picture of, it was, I think, your son's birthday, and she dressed up as from that dragon movie.
Yes, she was Astrid from How to Train Your Dragon.
She basically said it was a huge parenting fail. She said that your kid looked at her and gave an eye roll. You dressed up as Batman last time.
I did, yeah. She wanted to jump in on the whole costume phase, mania thing.
Is that over, that costume phase?
I think my son definitely killed it because she came out and she was in the thing with the makeup and the whole thing, and he was like, "Hey, Mom." I was like, "Look, your mom's." And he was like, "We already have an asterisk." I was like, okay. And she was so,
she was jazzed and pumped.
But that's part of being a parent, was when you realize that you're embarrassing
no longer cool.
your kids. Right. Way not cool.
Yeah, you can tell you still love her when you just talked about her.
Of course, she's wonderful. Somebody's the mother of your kids. They're going to be the most important central person in your life, and that's good.
Now, just two quick last things. Batman is finito. That's it. You're done with that.
Well, they will continue to do it, I think.
But it won't be the same without you.
Thank you so much.
And lastly, we just ran this story about Spielberg, and he's talking about Netflix and how he doesn't know if Netflix should be considered, for some Oscar considerations. Just your thoughts on that.
Well, I think what he was saying was that he believes there should be a robust theatrical release for movies. There should be, and really it's not so much a debate about one company or another as like how long should a movie be in theaters to be considered a movie versus television. And those lines are getting blurred because like people, I'm sure you guys see it on the show, like people are consuming, on their phones and on the internet and on the TV and so the business is changing, and the movie business has changed a lot over time. It was black and white, it was color, it was talkies, it was feature length, and TV was going to ruin the movies, and the movies survived. I think they will, and people are working to try to define how that's going to be. And for me, Charlie, it's like to do a movie for Netflix is no different than doing a movie anywhere else. We just sort of do our job.
Charlie, you're sitting next to an ace director over here, won the Oscar. Directing is something you want to do too, right?
Yeah, at some point, and it's one of the things. Ben was really generous. I made it my business to grill him as much as possible about that transition from actor to director.
And now I asked what you thought about working with Ben. Ben, when you first found out you're working with Charlie, what did people say?
Charlie has that like quality. He's one of the most like I don't know exactly what phrase to use, but like gets the biggest reaction out of other people when I tell them I'm in a movie. It's me, Charlie Hunnam. You work with Charlie Hunnam? What is he like?
It about?
I'm in the movie. He's really, he seems very men, women, the whole thing.
I know you do have that appeal of everyone.
What a reaction! So it's like maybe I should grow the beard back or something.
Well, you guys, thank you so much, Ben. I really, really appreciate it. Charlie appreciates you too. Triple Frontier is in select theaters. It comes out this Wednesday and on Netflix a week later, March 13th. So make sure you check it out.